but I was caught up in physical attraction. But to my satisfaction, baby.
All right. Hi there, everyone. Happy day. Welcome to In His and Her Words, So.Floetic. And to my left, I have Mr.
Demetrius Smith.
And it is
Lady Dara.
And we welcome you guys and thank you for joining the conversation. We're always excited to see you.
All right, Mr. Willowbone, you might want to stay on with this. I just want to tell you, stay on because you might want to respond to it, okay?
Welcome, Facebook family. Welcome, Instagram family. And welcome, YouTube family, okay? And unfortunately, our boy, Brian David, was not able to be with us. You know, he's still grooming that under construction fitness, y'all. So he's helping to get folks in shape. We know that health is extremely important. So, Brian, do your thing, baby. We're right here. Okay.
Hey, Keith.
Okay. All right.
The men are on deck.
Yes, the men.
So y'all need to stay on because it's just gonna be me. I need some help.
I got to separate because I left my number.
Yes, Demetrius is outnumbered.
Yeah, it's 2 against 1.
Right.
So guys, please.
Okay. So, you guys, before we get into the heart and soul of today's show, there's some shout outs that are necessary. Can we shout at Brian out because he's grooming under construction fitness? So shout out to Brian. But Brian was also nominated as Atlanta's hottest male model.
Oh my God.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, ATL's Hottest Awards creator, Mr. Brian K. Marshall, revealed the nominees for this year ATL's Hottest Awards. And I believe the award ceremony goes down in December, but this is nomination season or nominee season. So you can go on ATL's Hottest Awards to vote for your favorites. So Mr. Brian is definitely in the lineup, along with some other shout out Thompson of the TLA agency, which Miss Lady Dara just recently signed. She's a part of the Ageless Beauty Agency, created by Miss Tina Bridges. Okay. So, Mr. J.T. Thompson from the TLA agency was also nominated for ATL's Hottest Male Model. And then Saga Boss, who has the DTTO and that radio show, DTTO is determined to take over. Saga was nominated for ATL's Hottest Radio Personality. So shout out to Saga Boss.
Congratulations.
Yes, I mean, Bridges was also nominated for ATL. Hot Atlanta got it going on. Right. So I have sort of everybody, y'all. So you know, exciting. On my Facebook page, of a Damaged Man. That was it wrapped up on Sunday, and it was excellent.
Phenomenal.
Shout out to London Beverly.
I wish I could have been there, but you know I had previous days that I take care of.
It's okay, of course.
You heard my voice in the go there.
Definitely shout out to Abah and the entire cast. They were off the chain.
Yes, Miss London Beverly, I definitely appreciate that opportunity, sister friend. So thank you so much. I totally look forward to future work. I'm just excited, man. There's so many cool, amazing things that are happening. Birthday month. Okay, my birthday is 17 days. Okay, 17 days. I'll be entering the big post. All 7, y'all. I cannot even believe this. I remember as clear as the day is long. I can kick it with this one right here and her where we saw ourselves, what we were going to be doing at this age and that age, and in parent,
junior high.
Yes,
Junior high.
the streets don't owe me nothing, y'all. Okay, the streets don't owe me nothing. I have definitely put a dent in the cement. Okay. I put a dent in the cement.
But guess what? You didn't do too much damage because this is 447.
Oh, y'all know, let Hooker Red.
This is what it all looks like.
Wherever Hooker Red is, he will tell you, you are the sleepingest woman. I'm resting, honey.
Every time I call, I say, you must be asleep because you got that little sleepy voice going on. I must have woke you up.
Yeah, let me tell you, I keep it in rest mode as much as I possibly can, honey. I definitely do. And so I thank God that I had the type of mom, though, that she, even though she was a disciplinarian, was definitely about us respecting her and respecting the rules that she had created to keep me and my brother in line. So she was liberating to an extent because we still had to the rules in order to enjoy certain freedoms. So we had to do that respectfully and tastefully. So we weren't out there causing problems. We were just having a good time.
Hey to Leslie Ann.
Yes, all of you guys that are just tuning in, thank you for joining in His and Her Words. Happy Thankful Thursday. What we're going to be talking about today, family. Lord, here we go. We've been putting out there on the slick. You know, the sisters are finally going to be answering you, at least some of us anyway. So it is men. The difference between nagging and her speaking her mind is, and we're going to provide some insight, as much insight as we possibly can. And get away, hey, no, and they just want to get away from Dwayne, and they just want to get away from it all. Okay, y'all made me to the word of the day last Thursday was empathy.
Yeah,
you need to learn some empathy, learn and increase your communication skills, and you will begin to see it differently. Okay.
Yes.
So once again, men, the difference between nagging and her speaking is, and let me just say, my friend David Smith, he is a noble and he lives in New York City. David has the most controversial Facebook page on Facebook. This boy is forever posting stuff that will make you want to cut his ass. You know, and you know what the crazy thing is? First thing in the morning, he shouts you out and he tells everybody good morning. Then that post always come back with that guy, what's his name, Stevie J from Love and Hip Hop. Like, I'm getting ready to start some mess. Y'all ready? He always gets you queued up because he's gonna post memes and he's gonna talk crap that's gonna create some controversy on his page. So he is very consistent in that, y'all. Trust me.
So wait a minute, I think we might be about to start some controversy.
Yes. I think so too. Because we about to start.
We need some feedback, y'all.
Yes. So,
And we do need feedback.
Yes.
So anybody wants to chime in, feel free to chime in.
Words. How do you define? What do you think nagging is? Derived from a female perspective.
Nagging?
Yes.
To me, and I can definitely tell the difference because I'm an emotional being.
Right.
So for me, nagging would be more of my emotional side coming out.
Right.
To where I'm not really responding, but I'm reacting to a situation.
Okay.
And you can tell.
Oh.
Because that the other side of that would be what was it, nagging versus speaking my mind.
Right.
Speaking my mind, I would be more subtle. I would be more calming.
He just walked in the door and he turned up his lips.
I would be
so, Mr. versus a woman speaking her mind?
I would be more of a response versus instant reaction. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, Mr. Demetrius, how would you define in your own words nagging versus a woman speaking her mind? Would you be able to discern the difference?
I think there is a difference.
Okay.
Nagging, is something that, like she said, it's something that is what you say that you see something over there in the corner. You're like, that doesn't go there. Why you put that there? You should have did that there. That's nagging.
Okay.
Nagging. Speaking your mind is it's something that that comes from what you're how you feel in sort of a situation or a situation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, fellas, come on now.
Let me just. Some guys think everything that comes out of a woman's mouth.
Say, girl.
Why is that, Demetrius?
No. Okay, let me tell you guys a story. You know what? Everybody knows me. I am an even-keeled person.
Yes.
I go with the flow.
Yes.
But if it's something that I feel isn't right,
okay,
or something that's bothering me, I tend to become the drama king. And nag about things.
Okay.
That's just how I am. But if it's something that I feel is right in my heart, that's sort of like speaking my mind.
It's passionate about that.
I'm passionate about that topic.
I get that.
But if something's upsetting me,
I'm about to upset some men too. Because I don't think that some men, and it's a nice majority. It's a.
What did you say the first thing?
I think, and I'm just gonna guess. I'm a guesstimate here because I haven't taken any polls or surveys. I didn't even really see a whole lot when I researched this. Hey, Andre! I didn't really discover a whole lot in my research. But what if I had? I would say a solid 85% of what is a woman opening up her heart and expressing herself.
Well, I feel that I did not quite a philosophical type of way, but I feel that it was a good enough answer.
Well, yes, 1,000%. Book to females posting certain things, whether it's a meme, whether she's talking about how her day is going, whether she is professing to the world that I'm done with this certain thing in my life and I'm moving on with this. Usually some men, when women are constantly in that thought process of evolution, because we tend to focus on that a lot more than men do. They're in the moment and they're taking it from day to day in stride, and while we tend to be sort of in that rhythm, we're also in that rhythm or on that vibe of enhancements, in mind improving well-being and all that other jazz stuff. So when we get to a certain point and you get to put it out there of what you're doing and where your mindset is and how it's changing, brothers will get like, okay, here she go again with this shit, and then we get labeled that B word, okay?
Or that A word.
B is high maintenance, or that B is just too,
I don't think, because you should be able to speak your mind regardless of how you feel.
Hey, my baby.
She said, hey, mama.
Regardless of how you feel.
Got oh, man. Y'all better get ready. Because this one here should be a lawyer. Okay, oldest daughter.
So we are talking about the difference between a woman speaking her mind. And let me just say one conversation with my boy David Smith. I couldn't find the meme. I went back looking for it. He posted a meme about, the stupid and pissed me off. And just going on and on and on and on. To them, it's like the minute we open our mouths, it's just overwhelming. It's like, that's the man. And I've seen this more times than I can count, even in my Facebook group, in his and her words. What are the things that you desire the most from your woman? Silence is somewhere in there. Can she just be quiet? Can you just stop for a minute and give me a minute? And I'm like, my God, Demetrius.
Oh my
What you
God.
think about that?
IG is running what they're saying. Oh my God.
She now said, my beautiful black people, she said, she said, a man who has an ego and can't decode a woman's strength with his intuition, he needs to grow. Well, yes, Miss Naria, and I agree. I agree. Yes, because Brian said, Brian did say he had a lot that he could say about this. So unfortunately, we're going to have to listen.
I would have been able to be.
Yes, because I was ready. Because I know he was going to bring some stuff. I know he was.
But that's a good point, Naria. It's a very good point.
Well, I'm going to let you guys talk.
See, and I'm building it up because, like I said, what I have seen in my surroundings, and even and these are not men that I actually know. I know them through other people, or just from seeing them consistently on Facebook posts and stuff. They tend to think that, like Lady Dara mentioned, we have an angry black woman syndrome. We're feisty, we mouthy. No matter what it is that's coming out of our mouths, it all is interpreted the same. And that's interesting. Nagging. The very first site to come up was WebMD. And who was yes, right now,
It's a medical issue.
who would have thought that WebMD would have had input on nagging? But here's the interesting thing, and it is the difference between the two. The key difference. Nagging is constant reminder. My glasses. I can read this, y'all. Because and this young lady who wrote this article, her name is Michelle Weiner Davis, and she's a marriage counselor, marriage and family therapist. And what she says, how she defines nagging is verbal reminder, request, or plea said in various ways over and over again.
This is about a month.
So now let me tell you something. Women are not okay with that's why so many men are drawn to white women or black women or black women who are weak is altogether different than a woman who is simply expressing her feelings. But if a man who isn't in tune with his own feelings cannot comprehend her depths of emotion. And that is it. That's it.
Now, my daughter is 21.
That's it right there.
And dropping the knowledge.
That's it right there, y'all. Because
that's it.
Let me tell you something. Every woman, every time she opens her mouth, it's not, this thing says incessant verbal reminding, requests, and pleas. And we're not always reminding anybody of anything. We're not always pleading for anything. And we're not always requesting at anything. Let me tell you something. And I think the day that Brian, David, I really wish I could have found that daggone meme, because the post that he created with that meme, what was actually happening in the meme was that the woman was actually had a day to was just sit down and talk to her man about what was going on in her world, on her job. It wasn't that she was nagging him. It was more or less like, babe, I need to talk to you because this is what's on my mind.
That's what Abba, when you sit down with your man,
Right.
I'm not saying all men,
Right.
but a lot of men, when you even say that word, talk, okay?
Right.
Let's talk.
Yes.
They already have a negative perception.
And they think that you want to talk about us. Can we talk about our relationship? Can we talk about what I'm not getting?
Yeah.
Or you know, you hear the sigh, or you get this look like, oh girl, really, girl. You don't even know what's about to happen. You don't even know what's coming. But this is a form of conditioning. This is conditioning all day long.
Most times, my friend Keith said, most times, let's talk always leads to something negative.
You have spent time with self. When you have learned to love self, when you have learned to identify flaws and heal that, this is not what you're going to bring to your partner because you have more respect for yourself and for the person that you're involved with to do that to them. You know that's disrespect.
That's true.
So when you have evolved, you're not going there.
And can I share a little something with Keith? When you decide to look at things differently,
yes,
then your experience will be different.
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You have to change your perception going
Absolutely.
forward with the next person. And if you expecting that woman to be like the last one, then she will be.
Yes. And remember now, come on, I want y'all to keep what nagging actually is in the forefront of your mind. Okay. Remember what nagging actually is. Nagging is incessant, constant reminders, requests, and pleas. And this is not always what a woman is doing. She is not always pleading with you for something, or reminding you about something, or begging you for something. This is what constitutes nagging. A lot of the times, if she feels like she is in a partnership and she has developed trust, you are her security and her safety, then she thinks that she can come to you and trust you with feelings. I need to talk is not always I need to talk about us, or I want to talk about you and your behavior,
or I talk and you listen.
Exactly. I need to, and let me tell you from personal experience, let me just be transparent. When my partner, I need to talk, this is when I have felt like I'm at my end. Now I need to consult somebody that I know is capable of keeping me strong. So I can stay out there and weather what I need to weather, when I'm not around this individual. So it's not always about us that I need to talk about. It's mostly about we need that source that we can go to keep us empowered, motivated, inspired to keep going. That's another, and now we leading up to it, but even if I need to talk is about us, why does that have to be nagging though? Even if this conversation has happened more than once, the only reason the man would conclude that this was nagging if he didn't do what he said he was going to do at the end of the first conversation. If it's still incomplete. If it's still incomplete and there has been no resolve, then it has to be discussed again. This is where he's gonna find the problem because he didn't do his shit like he was supposed to do. Okay, so then this is okay, so Ms. Maria said, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
Thanks
okay, expressing true feelings is being powerful and having full control of yourself.
I love that.
Balance, Ashe. I love my Black people. I'm grateful for you. I love you, beautiful gods and goddesses. Okay, all right, Ms. Narcissus.
I love that.
That's my daughter.
Very spiritual.
Absolutely.
Very mature for her age and her roommate.
You said she's how old?
21. And let me just say, happy birthday, boo.
And let me tell you now, and let me just say that, you know, that generation, Mario, Dante,
Yes.
you know, thankfully, by the grace of God, at the time, that time that they came along, you know, we were heavily involved in church. You know, there was a lot, like this boy spent so much time around me with certain words, music, conversations, you know, so much. And person, and he don't always act his age either.
Right.
He don't even speak his age. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, well, at least when I hear Dante talk, I'm like, you know, that child, my Lord, praise him. I'm like,
when you instill that foundation,
sometimes you worry that are they going to get it?
Yes.
Is it making sense? Until you actually see him out there in action.
Visually
I've heard him in conversation with his friends. I've heard him give advice, and I'm like, well, my God.
Yes.
Hello
It's
now.
something.
Yes. Yes, amen.
I think both you guys have wonderful children.
Thank
You
you.
know, she's on here, you know, speaking for mine, and I'm like, wow.
Yes,
For a
absolutely.
21-year-old,
Come on
you saying
now.
all this?
And yes, honey, and at 21, trust me, I was still trying to find out stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I was so clueless.
And her roommate, 22, I believe, Monica, she's just as powerful in the spirit.
Awesome. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That is a very beautiful thing. This I generation, actually, very much so. I love it. I love it. Yes, absolutely. So now, just like I was saying, Lady Gerard said, do with the relationship, we can absolutely sit down amongst one another and converse. And we can say what we feel, and nobody has to judge that in a negative way. It doesn't have to be about nagging. It doesn't have to be about, you know, being disrespectful or anything like that. You should trust me enough to walk in truth. And I should trust you enough to do the same. And even if your truth may can still communicate that and accept it and still be in love. You know what I mean? In love and understanding, empathy.
But when does it turn? Because sometimes it turns from empathy
Okay.
to nagging.
Okay.
Well, and see that would be like what I said just a few minutes ago when I said the only way a woman, it becomes a constant conversation where this man is hearing it over and over and over again, is like if the initial conversation comes up talking about your budget, the household finances, you know, and you know, this is stuff you got to address every single month, every single day. You're buying groceries, you put gas in the car, you're having to pay a cell phone bill, rent, all this other kind of stuff. But it doesn't seem like you. And if she's bringing ideas to the table, or even if it's him that's bringing things to the table to help modify that and improve it so you can live a better quality of life, if nobody's actually taking the actual steps that are necessary, suggested, and this conversation turns into an ongoing thing till there's arguments, somebody storming out, somebody slamming the door, then there is a breach there because there's nobody willing to compromise. There's nobody willing to put in work. And so there's an indifference, which causes imbalance and causes disharmony. It creates confusion because somebody's not listening or somebody is not taking the other person seriously enough to do what is necessary. Okay, Keith, what you got? Y'all bring it, Keith. I want to hear it, baby.
Oh, no. See, Keith, you should be wrong, man.
What did Keith say?
I would like to hear Tony. They call me Tony. And I would like to hear Tony's perspective on how much the negative conversation to a positive. The man feels attached during the let's talk conversation. Am I reading that right? Make me read it.
When the man feels attached.
Yeah, I would like to hear Tony's perspective.
I think he's saying attacked. Feels attacked during the let's talk conversation. Is that right? Is that your word? Attacked?
I would like to hear Tony's perspective on how to turn attack. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So share. Tell me.
That's a good.
I know that question.
Where you are.
Okay. What you
Now
think?
you know we can add Tony, but we can hear him. You can add him. Yeah, you can add him. Demetrius, hold on.
Let's see.
Okay. Keith, we're gonna bring you in, man.
And he can say it himself.
Keith, we bring you in, man.
Got your volume up?
It said adding. So when he get it up from his side, we should be able to see him in that little box.
Okay.
In the corner.
Can't use it.
What is it?
I'm doing it wrong time.
Oh, why you decline, Keith?
See, now you want me to answer. Now you don't want to answer.
Don't be declining out there. Don't be talking about no. You don't answer all this, Keith. Let's go, Keith. Do not come out.
You doing so good, man. Come on.
Oh, shit, no.
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Keith, I want to hear that, Keith. You said no. LOL, no. Oh, and now you declining, but you over there stirring the pot. Don't be a bastard.
Okay.
What is she saying?
Okay. No, Larry just said thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. Conversation is always allowing the other person to talk. People always want to be right and talk over the other person, but being mature and having love is being able to agree. Oh, absolutely.
Now that's a word. I was
that.
just getting ready to say the most powerful thing you can do is learn how to.
Yes, and she also said, but being able to communicate effectively is the first step. My upbringing taught me well, so the background and bloodline of your partner matters, but anything is subject to change. And y'all playing all those throwback vibes just to set the mood, right? Yes. Oh, you hear that? You know now. What you know?
Y'all know about
Girl,
I do want to answer Keith's question.
Come on.
Come on.
Let's
But
go.
you know, when a man feels attacked and you're trying to turn that negative to a positive, you know, the thing, you know, people are sensitive. People are sensitive in their feelings. And you know, the things is, you know, you have to just say, hey, let's take a step back and just try to talk about here. Let's turn this thing around and bring it back to what we originally tried to go forth and do. So, you know, it's just, you know, one of those things that, you know, just be mindful of other people's, you know, opinions and feelings, and, you know, just try to turn it around.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And it makes a lot of sense. I understand where Keith is coming from, because, you know, listen, some of us, not all of us, but some of us did get the angry black woman syndrome. Honestly, we have to admit to that. There are some women that just don't know how to be more calm and subtle in their communication. We have to learn. I'm learning. It took me a minute. My daughter will tell you she and I haven't been able to communicate effectively many times. But I did learn from that art form. You have to learn how to talk and listen, and let the other person talk and listen, and just really hear what they're trying to say.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with, you know, like you said, agreeing to disagree. You just have to be mindful of other people's feel. Yeah, because, you know, people are so mean now. I mean, people get caught up in their feelings and they say stuff that they don't want to say. And they, you know, they just say it anyway, and then you just hurt, you know,
selfish, my way or the highway mentality. Yes. We have to learn how to just be like, okay, you know what? I don't agree with you, but let's just agree to disagree and move on.
Exactly.
And if you are a nagger, you need to beware. Because Michelle Weiner Davis from WebMD said that naggers do not always know that they're nagging. They actually believe that they're being helpful. So they don't think that they're offending or hurting anybody. And she also says, here are some key characteristics of a nagger. If a person constantly says one of these three phrases all the time, here's the first one. I've said it once.
Oh my God.
So some more feedback. Magnarius, okay, said yes, these y'all on it tonight. I agree with everything said. I'm a woman who has done both, as I have grown in my knowledge of understanding how to communicate. I can express myself without nagging. Absolutely. And you know what? And let me tell you, I have a very strong personality. And Hooker Red will tell you wherever he is, because I know he's somewhere. He don't always chime in, but he tells me, I watched that show, So.Floetic. I saw you. And he'll be the first one to tell me, you see you in that mouth? I hear that all the time. I hear that from that man so many times. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And it's okay. Because guess what? I am a sharpshooter with my tongue. I ain't gonna play with you.
But you know what? It's perception.
But the thing is, now, like Nalo said, I've been guilty of both.
Right.
You know, however, because I don't use those phrases. But guess what? Now that I have gotten into the habit of naps and meditation and self-love and preserving my peace of mind, I'm going to break it down for you one time. After that, I'm done.
Yes.
Because, and if I get to a point, relationship-wise, where I feel like I'm sowing my seeds into bad ground, deuces. We ain't got time. I ain't got time.
Then now you set in my ear.
And you are too much for me to be intertwined anyway. You need to do you and I need to.
Yes. Hi, thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
And Ms. Naria said, but I agree that we do not have to watch how we talk to our men because they have feelings just like we do. You can still be firm and straight to the point and soft. Absolutely, you can.
He said, "That's deep, preach."
Well, and you know what? And this is exactly what I just said, Ms. Naria. Because you know what? There's nothing that I can do to mask who I am. And why would I want to do that anyway? I wrote a haiku today, and the first line of that haiku that I posted was, "Don't you dare dim your light." Why? Do not ever do that for nobody. I don't care who it is, because you should never ask anybody to do that. You know, the thing is creating harmony. It's creating balance. And we definitely know how to do that when we get on the right frequency. We certainly know how to do that. You know, it's a matter of individual work. You know, and when you are willing to accept who you are and how you are, you know what you need to do to work that thing out. It's just like standing in the closet and trying to put together the right outfit. You know, you can just shake it and put it on and get it moving. You know when you got to do what you got to do. So that's that. It's not complicated. Make it complicated by what we're trying to be controlling, trying to defend that, trying to make your voice the loudest where only you can be heard. This is where the issues come in.
Exactly. We have to humble that.
Exactly. And I hate to say it, brothers, but it's the truth. Somebody, that whole submission role means that the woman is a bit more quiet and the man takes the lead. And if she's too expressive, then she's and that's true, Demetrius. It's not all of you. It's not all of you. Because some men find it very, very sexy as hell when she can get up there and handle her business.
That's why I say perception. Because for some people, it's a nagging, angry black woman.
Absolutely.
To another man, it may.
Some men feel intimidated when a lady is outshining them.
Oh, hey, yes. Let me tell you. My fiance. I remember I got hired right after a month, and I got a job as a store manager for Wilson's Leather. And I had been an assistant manager in New Orleans for Asher Stewart. Lady and Barbara says her name is Samara. She was a chef. When Samara met me, she was like, "Okay, you may have been an assistant manager, but I see manager written all over you, so we gonna bypass all that, and I'm gonna help you get to the next step." My heart was racing, and Bruce and I was just casually hanging out on 100. was hiring. Give me a girl and go in there and just do your thing. You got it. And I'm like, oh my God. I was about ready to die when these people offered me a store manager position. But when he kept saying, girl, please, they ain't a shop on your body. You can get in there and handle anything. Go in there and do your thing. When I actually got in that job, a lot for meetings, district meetings, store meetings, all kinds of stuff. But it got to a point where I had to always be a business attire and I had a briefcase. And it was like the highlight of this man's day to see me enter into a space. And he was like, look at my baby. Yes. He was more excited about that than I was. He just liked power. And he liked the leadership. And he likes seeing me operate in that capacity.
That's a tough for some men.
Exactly. It is very, very tough. Okay, ladies, what y'all saying over here? Okay, no, that's not new. Okay, wait. Okay, that's good. Okay.
What's all saying?
So
some men feel intimidated or it's the same. Okay.
So
we're trying to keep up with y'all.
Yeah, so y'all remember these characteristics, because if you are one that says, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, or until I'm blue in the face, or this and went through one ear and out the other, then stop. That's nagging. And you want to find another way of communicating and getting your point across without wearing somebody out. You don't want to wear them out.
Well, I've tried this. I've tried this solution. Okay. And it worked. This was what a solution I meant to say. I had a troubled past, as most of you all know. I explained this on a few videos ago. But anyway, make a long story short, how I stopped the back and forth angry dance between me and this other individual, I came at him in a loving way. And when he started at me, I would say something like, okay, this is my cue. Let me talk to you later. Or let me call you back when you feel a little bit better. Something like that. Just kind of get out of the situation for now, walk away, stay calm. And then guess what? Slowly but surely, you know what? That same person started interacting with me on the same level that I was interacting with him.
Or how about somebody nagging? How about changing the way it's said? Like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I wrote that. Okay. It's more about how the naggee reminders, whether they take offense, not how the nagger feels they say or stated what the reminders were.
Because the naggee.
And that's the key component is the naggee. Mm-hmm. Their interpretation of that entire conversation. Yes. If that person takes offense, if they feel like they can't get a word in edgewise, if they feel like they're being attacked, like Pete said, this is where the problem. So that means that nagger is really all over that nagging and not ability to communicate with them. They have completely taken over the conversation, and that's not fair because that's not communication. You just hurling and shelling out demands or your thoughts or your perspective or your ideas, and you're not willing to take in any. That's totally not fair.
You know what? My daughter has told me on several occasions, because she and I kind of sometimes just butt heads. How you gonna be two fire houses and two fire heads in one house? You know, number one.
Right.
And she's just as intelligent as I am. That's not what I meant. That's just how you took it.
Oh, hello.
So perception, the word I used earlier, that is so key.
Very key.
Yeah,
very key. And let me tell you, this is in all kinds of relationships. This is not just in your romantic life.
Yeah.
Because you can have an employer or a colleague at your job that thinks that you're mad.
Oh, yeah.
They made that you are bitch from hell. Mm-hmm. You know what? So seriously, this is beneficial in all types of communication, because the one thing you don't ever want, remember y'all empathy from last week, the one thing you want to definitely make sure that you are is empathy. You always want to respect the people that are around you, even if they don't have enough common sense to respect themselves, or you in return.
Yes.
You just like Lady Zara just said, when you begin to put yourself in alignment, you know when, like, this is my cue. I'm gonna step on over here. And I'm gonna leave you with that for a minute, and we can resume this later on.
Right.
You know, that's better go toe to toe.
Because it begins to be, you know,
Yes.
you don't want to keep going back.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And what you don't ever want to do, y'all, seriously, is lower your vibration.
That's right.
You know, because this is where vulnerability, this third dimensional vulnerability comes in, and it makes you susceptible to all of this foolishness. You know, the back and forth, the cursing, impatience, hostility. You know, this makes you very, very vulnerable spiritually.
Yes.
And you lose all of your composure. You know, next thing you know, you done jumped off and you ready to jump over tables and pick up bottles and cut somebody.
Exactly.
You know, and that's just totally not your spiritual character. You always want to stay in. And this is why I put out these morning kisses. KISS is an acronym for keeping in spiritual space.
Yes.
That needs to be your daily goal. To maintain your spiritual identity and your spiritual surroundings. You want to keep your space sacred.
Yes.
Wherever you walk, you want that to be sacred ground. You know, and so this is why we done got into the habit. I know I have of wearing crystal jewelry and meditating and all of this stuff, because you definitely want to.
And that,
No.
but it's like I said, it's all in perception.
Right.
Anything that means something important to you, and
Yeah.
you can bring energy to that thing,
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
empower it.
Absolutely.
So you believe,
yes,
that this is going to keep negative energy from you, then it will, because it's your perception. How you, and then you put your couple with your belief. Posted this morning.
I like
For
the
those
girl.
who follow me on IG, I said, I am magical and so are you.
Absolutely.
When you start to work that magic, then you won't have to ask no questions. You won't have to ask nobody nothing. It's with that.
Say it. This is so very true.
And listen, when you get to that level, it's not like you already have it all together.
Right.
I have to daily meditate, daily pray, okay?
Yes.
Daily yoga to keep my zen. Okay, it's not just something that I got it, and you stop. Because the minute you stop, here comes darkness again. You have to stay in alignment with yourself. Your stay centered. Yes. So, and like she said, her morning knees, her morning kisses, everyone. That's like encouragement. You have to constantly keep encouragement in your ears, in your eyes, in your everywhere. Absolutely. You know, protect your energy. It's like people read the Bible every day. Well, I listen to encouraging lessons every day. You know.
The thing is now, since we talked about the nagger, some of the phrases that a person that speaks their mind, do you have any of those? Okay,
and you know what? Awesome, because you know what? I spent so much time trying to understand the position of the nagger. The speaker who is not afraid of self-expression. Let me say this. There was a young lady that posted a video. I think the video might have went up yesterday, but I didn't see it until this morning. And I don't think we're Facebook friends. I think she might be a friend of one of my Facebook friends, but the video came through my feed anyway. So nonetheless, apparently she's a hairstylist, a natural hairstylist. And she showed a video for live off the traditional way with the palm roll. She used the crochet needle, if you ever know what, she had sectioned the hair off, and she took the needle and started wrapping and stabbing the wrapped hair into every knot, look like a lock. So rather than waiting out the process of length and whole locking, budding, and all that stuff you go through when you're locking, this person ended up with shoulder length locks. It was a fro, and they ended up with shoulder length locks in a couple hours.
I've seen that.
So, and I was like, wow. So my comment to that video was, locking is a very spiritual process, and it brings about qualities in your character that define you as an individual, a spiritual being. It brings about patience and clarity, strength, understanding. You take these shortcuts then you miss out on acquiring all of that. And I said, to me, I think if you are willing to bypass that just so that you can have the length and you can have the look, then that to the process. To the process, exactly. So then the stylist came back and she said, well, I went through the process that you spoke of, and I agree with you, but you don't have to insult the person that decided to do this. And I said to her, clearly you don't know me, because I don't intentionally insult anybody. That is never my objective. I said, but I do believe in freely speaking my mind. I said, and this is just my perspective. I said, I've also grown to, if somebody objects to what I'm saying, I will give them that because they're entitled to object. I don't look for you to agree. I said, but I will never just blatantly disregard or disrespect anybody because that's just not me. Right. So she had nothing else to say after that, but somebody else chimed in and said, I totally get where you're coming from, and you are definitely right about what it means about speaking your mind. She says, although I took my son through a similar process because he started off with, and some of his locks were not the same size. So they did a process similar to what the lady had done to make his locks all the same size. But he did start off the traditional way. And so I told her, I said, listen, I understand everybody. There's methods. There's so many different ways that people go about their whole locks. These are locks to their ass. And then the jewelry and everything, all this. And you know, I get it. I know the times that we're living in. That does not negate the fact that all that shit is not beneficial. It may be convenient to some on the damn benefits. And that's just the bottom freaking line.
And I think she's speaking her mind.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And that's exactly it. This is a private.
Is as you develop your patience, then there comes the development of your character. So it kind of just ties in, you know, when you let go and let flow.
Come on,
you know what I mean with the
Say
universe?
It. Yes.
Just allow.
Absolutely.
Just be in the now. Be in the now moment.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I think she's trying.
Well, no, but this is what I said. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Everything.
Let me tell you, point in time for those that know how to speak their minds. Yeah. There's a point where it's a process too. Some folks are just naturally outspoken. They're just naturally that way. I remember Dante was he was on the bus in New Orleans. I had just taken him to get his haircut. And me and this child was on our way back home. We were living in New Orleans East. And Dante saw this man on the bus. I was with a lady. And the lady was talking to him the whole ride while we were on the bus going home. When we got to our stop, he said, come on, you want to come to our house? We got some greens and some fried chicken and some cornbread. I said, boy, bring your tail. You don't know these daggone people. You know, but he's always been one of those types of individuals that if it comes to him and is on his heart, he's going to put it out there. And it can sound harsh, it can sound disrespectful, it can sound rebellious, it can sound like, wow, really? You know, but he's just, and I feel like, you know, I encourage that. I said, Satan, don't be one of these men that suppress your feelings, that suppress your emotions. Because if you do that, you end up putting your hands on people, you end up getting yourself locked up because all you want to be able to say what you feel. Right. Say what's on your mind and put it out there and deal with it the right way. Don't suppress nothing. And then erupt.
Yeah. Allow people to be.
Yes.
And not only that, you know what else? When I speak to people, sometimes I'm a strong woman too. I have a voice and I use it. But my thing is, sometimes when I speak, I'm very passionate about certain topics.
Yes.
So when I speak on that topic, if I'm talking in my very passionate way, that I am naturally text. And that's the furthest from the truth.
Yes.
I'm just passionate about that.
That's pretty much how, because me, you guys know I'm a pretty laid back person.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I don't talk much, but you know, I do have an opinion about things.
Right.
And you know, if I express my opinion, people tend to think it's not real. So I have to sit up here and, like you say, get a little bit louder and express it and make sure that you heard me, because how I feel. You know, just
so they think you're not being honest.
I'm not being honest.
I guess
Outspoken.
Yeah. But you know what? I know a lot of people like Joyce. I call her the prophetess. Joyce is an extremely powerful, very strong person. But when I tell you this girl, she almost put a fear in you and never gets loud, never gets in. I've never in my life, not ever, heard Joyce raise her voice, not one time. Never, about nothing. If you can call Joyce, I just said this to somebody, and they were cracking up laughing at me on the phone. But I said, you can call this at the top of your lungs. Oh my God! Oh Lord! God, you ain't gonna believe this! Jesus! Joyce is gonna say, calm down, breathe, baby. Now tell me what happened. And she stays this way. She don't ever let.
Not everybody angry.
She don't ever let nothing rock her. And so this, and I'm telling you, she's been consistently one way the entire time that I've known her. Is not an act. Consistently one way the whole time that I've known her.
That's powerful because she's learned how to protect her.
Yes, always. And it's not to say that she's some kind of superwoman where nothing bothers her. But what Joyce has absolutely mastered is taking it to the throne. Now her new, and I don't even want to call it new, but now meditate.
I like that.
Breathe about it. Rather than to cut up and act about, breathe about it.
I like that.
And she really listen to those breaths in meditation. Because really and truly, that inhale and that exhale, this is spiritual communication. Yeah. This is your is taking in the presence of the Most High, the truths. And your exhale, you're releasing so that your body can contain what you've taken in. So when she tells you to breathe about it, she's reminding you that there is a resolve in the silence.
Yes, it
you know, there's a resolve in the silence.
Yeah.
So it's not always chaos, keep and crazy. Definitely not. It's definitely not. So so we didn't hit our y'all. So just know that, now we talked a lot about the nagger, but just know that somebody that speaks their mind, they're just free thinkers. You know, they're able to be transparent with you. They're able to declare their truths. They're able to be honest with you out of love. It's never judgment. It's never condemnation. It's never an intent to insult. It is just a matter of keeping it on. Then what you ought to know about them is that whatever they tell you that may sound blunt, it is coming from care. It is coming from love. I need to be this honest with you. I need to be this real with you. And I need to let you see me in all of my transparency so that you can know that I'm genuine and I'm real. And what I feel for you is truth.
That's good.
So that's basically the difference. Hello. So there you go. The difference between nagging and speaking your mind. Okay? All right, y'all. So thank you all for tuning in to In His and Her Words with Abah SoFloetic, Mr. Demetra Smith, Miss Lady Dara. Y'all definitely follow us on all social media. I am Abah SoFloetic on everything. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You can definitely find me on social media. Mr. Demetra.
I am on Facebook, Demetrius Smith. Instagram, I_am_Demetrius. And on Twitter, I think I am Black Dreamer 40.
All right.
It's Black Dreamer.
Black Dreamer.
I love it. Okay, Miss Lady Dara.
I am on Instagram, Lady with an I, LADI_Dara, DARAH. Follow me there. I am on Facebook, Lady Dara. Same thing, no underscore, lowercase.
Nice. And Mr. Brian, y'all, he's not with us, but he's definitely, if you guys seen our flyer, Brian Under Construction Fitness, you can find him on social media under Brian David. Is how you can find Brian. And he's a fitness trainer, y'all, definitely into health. Got them nice biceps, triceps. So y'all
That's why he wanted what's he called?
Oh yeah. Hottest ATL male model is what he's been nominated for.
That's what he's been nominated. That's why he's nominated.
Yes.
Well, congratulations, brother. We do love you.
Absolutely. Yes. And so, yes, you guys, so we'll tune in with us next Thursday. 7 p.m. is the time. And please, I mean, these conversations are the bomb. You get so much when two or more are gathered.
There you go.
Come on now. All kinds of stuff can evolve from these conversations. So you just never know from one moment to the next what you're going to get. You know, when you come together and willing to take away something, that's going to be a blessing to you and to others. So remember, Life LIFE is about keeping love first every day. Smooches, y'all. Smooches.
All right.